This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
So we will start with the latest. It is no longer a recovery. It is no longer a rescue operation. It's now a recovery operation in the Potomac River. 67 dead, no survivors. That is just tragic. That is just awful. A Black Hawk helicopter collided with a regional jet operated by American Airlines. It's the worst plane crash in this country since 2009. Doesn't happen often. It's remarkable how safe it is, but it wasn't safe for 67 souls, 64 on the jet, including crew members, and three soldiers on the Black Hawk helicopter. There's tragedy out of Boston. The skating club of Boston lost 2 coaches, 2 young skaters, and their mothers in the deadly crash. There was a big skating event, a national figure skating championship in Wichita, and a development camp. They were headed back to Boston through D.C. when the crash occurred, and it's just tragic. It is just so sad. Where do you go from there? Well, yesterday was a wild day in D.C. Every day is a wild day in D.C. RFK Jr. went before the Senate Finance Committee and did quite well, I will say. I watched this. I obviously was rooting for him. He was being grilled by some of the worst people in the world. And you know what happened? He exposed them. That's what happened. They were there to expose him. He exposed them. You had people questioning RFK Jr. who are bought and paid for by Big Pharma. That is why RFK must be confirmed. He is going to expose all of this. He's going to go in there and he's going to turn over rocks, and you are going to see the cockroaches, the rats scurrying in all different directions. His views on abortion, on climate change, his lifetime of advocating for the most liberal causes don't matter here. They do not matter. What matters is he is the ultimate disruptor, and what we need now is disruption. RFK Jr., like most of Donald Trump's nominees, he's only there because of what they did. They brought this on themselves. They lied to us for the last 4 years. They lied to us throughout COVID. We learned our healthcare industry is the most corrupt in DC, in this country. Thank Dr. Fauci for this. Thank Pfizer for this. They brought us RFK Jr. They drove RFK Jr. into the hands of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump made this pick, not because RFK Jr. is a doctor or a scientist or an engineer or some kind of vaunted healthcare authority, because RFK Jr. is a fighter. And what he's fighting for is transparency. What he's fighting against is corruption. And you saw it on full display yesterday on Capitol Hill. These people are just despicable. Each and every one of them has taken money from Big Pharma. Each and every one of them has carried the water for the Pfizers and Modernas, including the fake Indian Liz Warren, including the commie Bernie Sanders. These people, we always knew they were frauds, but it was on display for all the world to see. They couldn't control themselves. He is a threat, not just to Big Pharma, not just to the entrenched bureaucrats in the FDA and the NIH. He's a threat to them. He was showing us all what conflicts they have, what shills they are. It was spectacular, and they didn't even seem to know that they were the ones who were being exposed here. They are the frauds. They are the ones with the conflicts. Not him. He's just the opposite. Big Pharma hates him. Big Pharma loves Liz Warren and Ron Wyden and Bernie Sanders. That's that's where those are their people. Those are the ones that they give their money to. The list of people who have taken money from Big Pharma is directly inversed, or should I say, directly proportionate to the ones who are the strongest opponents of Robert Kennedy Jr. They're the ones who are most determined to stop him. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why are they so determined to stop this man? What's in it for them? Well, I will tell you what's in it for them. Exactly. For Liz Warren, how about $1.2 million in the election cycle? Yes, the vaunted consumer advocate, the voice for the little people, is bought and paid for by Big Pharma. The only senator who's taken more money from Big Pharma than Liz Warren is Bernie Sanders. Yes, Bernie Sanders, like $1.4 million. It is remarkable how obvious this was. How I mean, the lengths they will go to stop him are amazing. Just a quick rundown. In the last 10 days, what we've learned about the Democrats, about the media, here's the things they have been forced to defend by Donald Trump and his nominees. Let's see. Leaving illegal alien criminals alone to commit more crimes in this country, that they're defending that. How about mutilating and castrating and sterilizing children? Yes, they're going to defend that. How about 50 million for condoms in Gaza? Yeah, defend that. Go for that. How about federal workers staying home and continuing not to work? How about racist DEI policies? Let's continue to fight hard against merit. That's the new cause célèbre for Democrats. And of course, fighting to continue the chronic disease epidemic, fighting hard against a guy who wants to do something about obese children, sick children. That's what he wants to do. That's his goal. I don't question his sincerity here at all. That's why he's in this position. That's what he said. He drops to his knees every morning and prays that God will put him in a position to cure sick kids. And what are the Democrats doing? Everything in their power to stop him. Just a quick rundown of things he pointed out during his hearing. 38 million people in this country with diabetes, 29% with depression, 74% of Americans are either obese or overweight. 1 in 5 kids are obese. How do you defend that? How do you not support a man whose goal it is to end the chronic disease epidemic, to make America healthy again, to make our food healthy again? Again, I know he's a Democrat. He's a Kennedy. He's a liberal. He always has been. And they are fighting tooth and nail. Tell me this. RFK, what if he were nominated by a Democrat and he was on the short list of Obama and Biden? His name was floated for various positions in their cabinets because he was such a good Democrat for years. Now he's nominated by a Republican and they're doing everything they can to stop him. That shows you what frauds they are. Liz Warren would absolutely support him if he were nominated by a Democrat. Bernie Sanders, same thing, but he's a Trump guy now, so he must be stopped. As RFK said, there's no Democrat children or Republican children. There's just children who are sick and fat and unhealthy, and he wants to change that, and they want to stop him. It was so illuminating what we saw yesterday on Capitol Hill. They will do anything to stop a man whose only goal is to make kids healthy, is to stop the obesity, the diabetes, cancer. He wants to change that. Here's a couple of more numbers. In 1960, Women, the average weight of women in America, 140. Today, 170. Men, 166. Today, 200. We're fat. We're sick. We're sedentary. And Robert Kennedy Jr. is standing up and saying, this is an emergency. This is urgent. We have to change this. You would think everybody could get behind that, particularly Democrats, because he's one of them. He was one of them up till a year ago. He was running in their party for their nomination. And they said, no, we can't have that. We cannot shake things up. We cannot change. We cannot change course. We have to stay on this course where 74% of the country is overweight or obese. That's the stance, the view. That's the position of these absolute frauds who tell you every day they're fighting for the little people, for the children. How many times do we hear Democrats, Liz Warren, say she's doing it for the children? She's a liar. She's a fraud. She's doing it for the money. It could never be more obvious than yesterday when they went hard at this man and they made no sense. They went off the rails. It was incoherent. It was just absurd. The whole attack on Kennedy. I don't even know where to begin. I guess we should begin with the fake Indian, the biggest fraud of them all. As I said on Twitter, I'm sorry, America. I apologize. There's some really bad senators, Congress people. There's some bad people in D.C. This is the worst. She is the worst. She is absolutely despicable. She doesn't even need the money, by the way, that she takes from Big Pharma. She doesn't have to worry about re-election. She's in Massachusetts. The whole system has her back. The Boston Globe, all the local politicians, they're on her side. She doesn't have to worry about re-election, and yet she takes millions from Big Pharma. She takes millions from Pfizer and Moderna and these other Big Pharma. He fights them. She protects them. That is the bottom line. He fights against Big Pharma. She protects them. She takes their money. They own her. And I thought she was smarter than this. I really do. She had 5 minutes, I believe 5 minutes. And her tact was, let's get Robert Kennedy Jr. to promise when he leaves the position at HHS, if he gets confirmed, he will never sue Big Pharma. He will never go after Big Pharma again. I'm telling you, she's not even hiding it anymore. She was loud and proud. She's a Big Pharma stooge. Watch this.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturers.
She wanted him to vow to never sue pharmaceutical companies. That's how she chose to use her time. Please don't sue my guys, my benefactors. Do not sue the people who send me millions. Do not. Does she, again, to quote J.D. Vance, do you hear yourself, Martha? Do you hear yourself, Pocahontas? Do you hear yourself? Apparently not, because she left the hearing, went out in the hallway, and did a press conference, and it was more remarkable than the testimony, the questions. She thinks she's getting traction from this, that she wants to warn everybody that RFK Jr., who's been an advocate for environmental causes. He's been a lawyer. He's spent his life trying to clean up the Hudson River. He's gone after Big Pharma. He's gone after corporate America. And this absolute fraud who claims to be a consumer advocate, who claims to be the one fighting big business and corporate America, She lets the cat out of the bag here. She's afraid that RFK Jr. and his ilk might bankrupt vaccine manufacturers. This might have worked 4 years ago. It doesn't work anymore. We just lived through a period where the federal government forced people to get a vaccine that didn't work, where Dr. Fauci lied on a daily basis to get people to submit, to obey, to take a vaccine that didn't work. Healthy people, children, to take a vaccine in order to enrich the big pharma companies, the vaccine manufacturers. And now she wants to stop RFK Jr. because he might bankrupt vaccine manufacturers. A question for you, Liz. Why would a lawsuit bankrupt a vaccine manufacturer? Because it worked perfectly? Because it's like the polio vaccine? Because it worked? Because it kept people healthy? I don't think so. The only way a lawyer could bankrupt a vaccine manufacturer is if it didn't work, is if your sugar daddies lied about it the way they did with the COVID vax. Watch the lack of self-awareness. It's just remarkable. I thought she was smarter than this. Not only is she a liar and a fraud and a shill, she's an idiot. Watch this.
Profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccine.
So, to review, she's afraid RFK could bankrupt a vaccine manufacturer with a lawsuit, and then no one could get a vaccine. Well, let me ask you, what if it didn't work? What if they're lying? What if they're just selling a defective product? Yeah, Miss Consumer Advocate is afraid that her guys might get bankrupted by a lawsuit. That is just remarkable. She is just an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. One more time, I apologize, America. We apologize. We are sorry for sending this wretched, awful, evil, stupid woman to the Senate to just put on a display, put on a performance. That's how you know it's a performance. RFK, if he still had a D, if it was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris nominating him, she would be singing his praises, but she doesn't care. Bernie Sanders doesn't care. Bernie Sanders was, he used his time almost as well as Liz Warren did. Bernie Sanders attacks RFK Jr. for a onesie. If you missed it, this was perhaps the most humorous moment. Megyn Kelly was sitting behind RFK and she was laughing hysterically. This old cranky commie wanted RFK Jr., who has been nominated to a really important position with really important duties and role, he wants him to denounce a onesie. You heard that right, a onesie. Watch this.
You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
That was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That's it, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. We are not Vermont, Massachusetts, New England. We're not sending our best. This is just embarrassing. This is childish. Will you denounce a onesie? First of all, he should have said no. It's for babies. And the vax we're talking about is the COVID vax, which Democrats forced on children, on babies. And now we know that was completely unnecessary and risky. Of course, babies shouldn't have gotten the COVID vax. And yet, that was his gotcha moment. You won't denounce this onesie for babies? And what at a congressional hearing, you want a man to say, yes, I denounce all onesies. He should have just said, no, babies don't need the COVID vax, you idiot. Don't we know that by now? Are we living in 2020? We've seen it. We've been through it. You fools, you, Warren, you, Sanders, Wyden, a whole bunch of you, you pushed a vaccine on children that they didn't need, and you did it in service to your sugar daddies in Big Pharma. I wish RFK Jr. could have gone all out. I wish he could have turned to Liz Warren and said, I don't take money from drug companies. Do you, lady? I think you do. You, Bernie, you take more money from these companies than anybody. I don't. I try to hold them accountable. You don't. It was just one embarrassing moment after another from Democrats, and it was a waste of time. They're not voting for him. They don't care. It doesn't matter what he says. He's a Trump guy. They're against him. That's it. He needs Republican votes. That's how we can get confirmed 50 votes. That's all that matters. Liz Warren was never, ever going to support him because on top of everything else, she's just a partisan hack. She doesn't care what he says or what he's going to do. She doesn't care about sick, obese kids. She doesn't care about diabetes or red dye in the food. She hates Trump. That's all that matters. And they never put a glove. They never got a glove on him. Again, his voice isn't great. He doesn't want to really stir it up by calling them out. I understand that. He just want to get through this, and he hopes he gets 50 votes. But he did one thing. He let them hang themselves. It was beautiful. There was so many more highlights. I just sent you this clip, Ironhead, of Bernie again. Bernie is such an embarrassment. I love this idea that Bernie fights for the little guy. Bernie has 3 mansions worth millions, fighting for the little guy by standing up there and screaming about big pharma and big pharmaceutical companies. And he thought he had him when he went after, with the most tired, just hackneyed attack, is healthcare a human right? And of course, he thinks RFK is a good liberal and he'll just go along with this silly narrative. Oh yeah, it's a human right. It's just absurd. It's a human right. Of course, it's not a human right. You can't just say, walk up to any surgeon and say, I need knee surgery, give it to me. A human right doesn't include other people's services. You can't force people to do things for you because you say it's a human right. That's human right is free speech, as RFK points out. That doesn't require anyone else's services, time, or money. Healthcare does. That's why it's not a human right. As Dr. Rand Paul pointed out, it might be an obligation to help people if you're a doctor, but it's not their right to your services. Here's Bernie Sanders, who sounds like some sophomore at Middlebury, asking this question. And RFK, once again, he handles it okay, but he could have done better. Go ahead.
Very much like the slogan that you coined, Make America Healthy Again. And I strongly agree with that effort. Despite spending, as you indicated, 2 or 3 times as much per capita on healthcare as other nations, we have 85 million people who are uninsured, underinsured. We have all kinds of chronic illnesses. Our life expectancy is lower than other countries. And for working class people in this country, they are living 6-7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. We got a problem, okay? And I'm going to suggest some ideas that I think can remedy that. Last year, the insurance industry in this country made over $70 billion, while at the same time, 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Healthcare.
All right, you get the whole cut. He says, like I said, it's not a human right like free speech. Obviously, not a human right. It's just silly. Again, it's just college faculty lounge nonsense. But Bernie thought he had him. And again, what's the point? You're not voting for him. You don't care. You just hate him because he's a Trump guy. And they got a fight on their hands. They got a problem on their hands because he was surrounded by these Maha mamas. There's lots of liberals, lots of Democrats who support him because they want to make kids healthy like he does. That's the priority. And when you have a mother and she's fighting for her children, nothing else matters. She's fighting to have healthier foods, get rid of processed food. She's healthier. She's fighting to deal with the diabetes epidemic, the obesity. And they're sitting there saying, will you promise not to sue Big Pharma? Will you denounce onesies? Just children. That's what they are. They're bratty, partisan children. All right, we got much more to get to today. I could do RFK Jr. all day. This hearing was fascinating. Again, another huge W for a Trump guy. He did very well. They embarrassed themselves. He needs all the Republicans to get on board, and I hope he does. Again, it's not, I can't even believe I'm saying this, that I support a Kennedy, a Democrat, a climate change alarmist, a pro-abortion guy, but none of that matters. As he said, it's a spiritual fight. It's a fight to change the direction of the country. And it's important. He has to win. He has to be confirmed. All right. Speaking of winning, Trump just keeps on winning. We got the latest. The Laken Riley Act is now law over the objections, the dead bodies of Democrats. They did their best to fight for illegal alien criminals, but they lost, and they just keep losing, and it's great. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Ring in the new year with new rewards at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Right now, new players can play just $5 and get 250 casino spins on a featured game with promo code Newsmax. That's 250 chances to win on us after you play just $5 or more. Don't wait. The best rewards and the brightest moments are waiting at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Whether you're spinning slots, doubling down on blackjack, playing roulette, or any of our exclusive games you can't find anywhere else, make any moment golden with Golden Nugget Online Casino this year.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for Jinshi, Baoshi, Endless Treasures only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at goldennuggetcasino.com/promos. Ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 23rd, 2025.
We're not sick of winning. Not yet. The Democrats fought hard for illegal alien criminals who are here illegally and then commit crimes while they're here, like Jose Ibarra, the illegal alien gang member from Venezuela who came into this country under Joe Biden in 2022, committed numerous crimes in New York and in Georgia, and was not deported, was not detained because Democrats. And what did he do? He murdered Laken Riley, just went out looking for someone to kill. He tortured her. She battled for 18 minutes. He finally bashed her head in with a rock, a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student. It was just tragic. It was outrageous. And you would think we could all get behind the Laken Riley Act, which is righting this wrong, correcting this mistake, and forcing the federal government to deport scum like this after they commit another crime, not when they break our law and come over our border, but after that, if they commit another crime. Well, Democrats fought it. They voted against it. Let me see the numbers. 156 Democrats in Congress and 12 Democrat senators voted against the Laken Riley Act. A bunch of Democrats got on board, John Fetterman, Mark Kelly, a few others, and it passed. And it is the first law that Donald Trump has signed into, first bill he signed into law in his second term, which will deport illegal alien criminals who then convict more crimes. Why would you be against? How could you be against this? How do you look your constituents in the eye after you vote against this? Well, he signed it into law yesterday, and just a moving ceremony. It really was amazing. Gave a good speech, then signed it into law and handed the pen to Allison Phillips. That would be Laken Riley's mother, who I'm sure her life was destroyed, her life was ruined, her family was just torn apart. Democrats, they don't care, you know. We need illegal aliens to stay. Maybe they'll vote for us eventually. Trump was very empathetic, very compassionate. She really appreciated it. And a reminder, Joe Biden didn't even say he was forced to say her name in a State of the Union address. He called her Laken Riley, and then he said she was killed by an illegal, and the next day apologized to the illegal alien who murdered Laken Riley. Apologized for calling him illegal. There's your empathy, your decency from Joe Biden, who never reached out to Allison Phillips, the mother of Laken Riley. Donald Trump did. Here's your difference. He cares. He cares about Americans who are murdered by illegal aliens. Here was Trump yesterday.
This is an amazing tribute to an amazing young person. And if you could come up, Allison, and say a few words, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. We would like to thank Senator Katie Britt for her diligent bipartisan work to get this bill through the Senate. We'd also like to thank Congressman Mike Collins for his unwavering passion and for leading on the Laken Riley Act from the start. Our family will forever be grateful for the prayers of the people across our nation and for helping to get this legislation into law. We also want to thank President Trump for the promises he made to us. He said he would secure our borders and that he would never forget about Laken. And he hasn't. He's a man of his word. We trust that he will fight for the American people. Most importantly, I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without his sacrifices, Laken's story would have ended on that horrific day that she was taken from us. But because of him, we can continue living knowing that we will see Laken again. There's no amount of change that will ever bring back our precious Laken. Our hope moving forward is that her life saves lives. We're so thankful that her passion for helping others and her legacy for doing good in the name of Jesus Christ will carry on. Thank you.
Thank you.
How hard is that? Honest to God, how hard is that part of the job to honor a grieving mother?
It should literally come naturally.
I mean, it's the easiest part of the job, the most obvious part of the job, and Joe Biden sucked at it. I understand why. Joe Biden killed Laken Riley. She's alive today if he didn't open the border. Joe Biden and Alexander Mayorkas have Laken Riley's blood on their hands. That's a fact. I'm not sure how any Democrat can defend this. They allowed an illegal alien gang member to come into the country, to walk into our country, and then he allowed him to go free after committing various crimes. And what did he end up doing? Murdering an innocent nursing student. And Joe Biden never reached out to her mother, never apologized, never properly said her name and apologized to the guy who killed her. That was the last guy. This is the new guy. And anyone who says Trump, that Biden had compassion or decency or empathy, they're just lying to you. He was a ghoul. He was a soulless monster. He thought it was worth it. It was worth the lives of Americans. That's over now. And thank God. Thank God that's why they're out. That's why Democrats are out, because of this. Number one, above all else, this, because of Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungary and Rachel Marin and the hundreds of thousands of people who died of fentanyl poisoning. They were collateral damage. Joe Biden thought it was worth it. Democrats thought it was worth their lives to change the demographics and get as many future Democrat voters in the country as they could. And the operation, the job of removing them is going great so far. It's working. We're getting them the hell out. We get the latest numbers. It's up to 5,500 in the first week. God knows, it's just a start. There's 1.5 million who've already been deported. There's 16,000 murderers, 24,000 rapists, and Tom Homan is going after all of them. And it's great to see. We'll get to the George Soros radio station that's warning illegals when ICE is coming. Yes, a radio station using the public airwaves is warning illegal alien criminals, gang members, that ICE is coming. But I want to do Trump because he had a great day yesterday, another great day. Another thing that I don't know how you oppose. Trump announced that federal workers who don't go to work have to come to work. Federal workers. Now, anybody in the private sector knows how this works. The company has to have some layoffs. It's got too big. It's not efficient. They offer, if you're lucky, they offer to buy you out, and you take the buyout, you get some time off, you get a chance to consider your options, you maybe get your resume in order, you look for a new job. That's the plan, to cut the waste, the fraud, the abuse in the federal government. Who thinks the federal government is not too big and too wasteful? Anybody? Can anybody honestly make that case? Well, of course not. And we knew this was coming. We voted for this. Trim the fat. Stop the abuse, the fraud, the waste. 6% of federal workers show up at work. 6. We have millions of square footage of empty federal buildings because they don't go to work. It is a obvious place to start. Let's trim this behemoth, the federal government. Here are your numbers, by the way. There are 2 million federal workers. Again, 94% don't go to work. They're expecting at least 200,000 to accept this buyout. Donald Trump is offering them a generous 8 months of pay. They can accept this and get paid for 8 months on the taxpayers to continue their vacation. By the way, a number of them have illegally taken other jobs because they don't do any work. They just take a check. They can leave now. They can take 8 months pay and leave. Here's Trump making this very generous offer.
Because as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive. And it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed.
Does anybody think this isn't a good move? Does anyone think that the some hack in the Commerce Department is actually working from home, like actually contributing something that who's earning the hundreds of thousands of dollars they make? Of course not. Everybody knows this is a good idea. And you will see they will take this buyout because they know they've been caught. The jig is up. They've been home for 5 years. And again, to contrast the last guy, he tried to make a deal. He did make a deal with the Social Security Administration to keep them working at home till 2029 to continue their endless vacation. And Trump just said, that's not working. That's not what we're paying you for. Come back to work or quit. Simple. Again, common sense from Donald Trump. And you will see many of them will take the buyout, and it's good. They should. It's too good for them. It really is too good for them. All right. We're going to get to that radio station that's tipping off illegal aliens. Yes, an actual radio station which is using the public airwaves is endangering the lives of ICE agents to help illegal aliens stay free and clear in this country. It's absolutely outrageous. We'll tell you about that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
So how are the New Year's resolutions coming? We all make them, some of us stick with them. Some of us don't. You want to lose weight, get in shape, get your finances in order. I promise to read more books. I'm trying. Each new year is an opportunity to reflect and plan for the future, like setting career goals, making financial moves, and most importantly, ensuring your family is always taken care of no matter what happens. Make this the year you check the life insurance box off your list and protect your family's future with Policy Genius. Policy Genius makes finding and buying life insurance simple, so you can ensure your loved ones have a financial safety net to cover debts and routine expenses, or even to invest the money to earn interest over time. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Do you know 40% of people wish they got life insurance at a younger age? Compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free with no hidden fees. The licensed support team helps you get what you need fast so you can get on with your life. They answer questions, handle paperwork, and advocate for you throughout the process. Life insurance is a form of financial planning. Secure your family's future tomorrow so you have peace of mind today. Head to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Remember, 2 months ago when Joe Biden and the media and the Democrats told you they really wanted to secure the border. They really wanted to get the bad guys out, but it was just too hard. And President Joe Biden said, I can't do it. It's up to the Senate. It's up to Congress. They have to pass a bill. I would love to get rid of the illegal alien killers, rape. I can't do it. My hands are tied. Well, like most things Joe Biden told you, it was a flat-out lie. Again, at least 5,500 have already been deported. And this is just week one of the mission for Tom Homan. Here's a video from yesterday. Watch this. These are illegal alien criminals rounded up in the U.S. and walked back to Mexico. Don't even need an airplane. Don't need a bus. Apparently, they need a mask. They're all wearing masks. Thankfully, all these unvaxxed illegal aliens have their masks on. And ICE agents or Border Patrol agents are literally just walking them to a bridge and sending them home. How hard is that? This, to me, exposes all the lies we've been told for the last year. Yeah, if only Republicans in the Senate didn't obstruct, if only Donald Trump didn't tell them to vote against that bill. By the way, that bill would have allowed 5,000 illegal aliens in per day. Now we're getting like hundreds or less coming in per day, and we're marching the bad ones back to Mexico in handcuffs with face masks. Doesn't seem too difficult, does it? Well, unfortunately for these hombres, they didn't get warned by their local radio station. This is so outrageous. WKCBS radio, an Odyssey station. That means it's a George Soros station because George Soros bought the company after David Field former CEO of Odyssey, drove the company into the ground, into bankruptcy. Soros bought 220 stations. It was fast-tracked by Joe Biden's administration. They fast-tracked the transfer of these stations to George Soros, Medal of Freedom winner and man who spent his life trying to destroy this country, but a good friend of Joe Biden and the Democrats. His station actually went on the air and told illegal aliens where and when ICE was coming. Yes, this happened on a radio station in San Jose, California yesterday. Listen to this.
The chances in just a moment. First, though, I'm Brett Burkhardt, and here's what's happening. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan and Council Member Peter Ortiz confirmed today that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are currently carrying out an operation on the east side of town. The Santa Clara County Rapid Response Network, which is a community defense projecting system for immigrant communities against deportation threats, it first reported the activity on its platforms. In a statement to KCBS Radio, Mayor Mahan says the city's police department does not assist with or participate in these operations in any way. The county's response network says agents in San Jose were in unmarked vehicles, including a black Dodge Durango, a gray Nissan Maxima, and white Nissan truck. ICE agents were also reported outside a residence on South White and Tully roads, and officers were reportedly at the target on King and Story roads. Stay with KCBS. We'll be tracking it for you.
That is incredible. Not only did they tell you the neighborhood, they tell you the exact address and the make and model of the vehicles that ICE is driving. How is that legal? I would say it's not. How is that allowed? Could Tom Homan's guys storm that radio station? I'm sure the media would love that. They'll say it's Gestapo. Joy Reid will tell you it's Nazi-like tactics. But they're literally endangering the lives of federal agents on a radio station using the public airwaves owned by George Soros. Is that going to happen in all of George Soros's 220 radio stations? Are they going to tip off gangbangers and killers, drug dealers? Hey, they're coming, and they're driving a white Dodge Durango. Get ready, get locked and loaded. It's coming. It's going to happen. An ICE agent is going to face some real resistance. So far, so good, but it's coming. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get worse. There's still a lot of really bad guys out there. Hell, they busted the Tren de Aragua leader in New York City, in the Bronx, a couple days ago when he was trying to buy hand grenades. He's trying to buy explosives. You know, he's just here for a better life for his family, just trying to feed his kids by buying hand grenades. And ICE agents took him out. And you know what the people in the Bronx did? You know what the neighbors did? They cheered. They applauded the ICE agents. So basically what Democrats with the media are doing, they're taking sides. They're taking the side of the gang member, the killer, the murderer, the Tren de Aragua guy against the residents, the people who live there, many of whom are immigrants. And they're applauding ICE. They're applauding Tom Homan. And the media and the Democrats are calling them Nazis and tipping off the illegal aliens before Tom Homan and ICE rolls into the neighborhood. Just amazing. We'll be following that to see if someone brings us, stops that, ends that. That's how George Soros is using the radio stations that Democrats made sure he could acquire, he could buy out of bankruptcy. Just amazing. All right, before we go, Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, it's their turn in the hot seat, and I'm looking forward to this because you know what? All of Trump's guys, they have one thing in common. They're fighters. They're smart. They've been through the ringer. They know what it's like to face hostile questions. They know what these deep state actors in the Senate, they know what they're after. They know they're trying to stop them from exposing things. That's why they're there. They're there, above all else, for transparency, to show what's been happening in these agencies, whether it's HHS or the FBI or The intelligence agencies, they're there to expose the bad actors. And Democrats in the media are there to protect the bad actors. That's the dividing line. That's the line in the sand. Kash Patel has been a fighter trying to expose the corruption in the deep state, in the intelligence agencies, in the FBI, and now he's nominated to run it. And there are a lot of people who are really nervous right now, and they know Democrats have their back. They know Democrat senators are up there fighting for them, these deep state scum. And Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK and Pete Hegseth are there with one job: show people what's been going on in these corrupt agencies for the last 4, 5, 10 years. And it's going to be glorious. And hopefully Republicans stand strong. I think it was a good day yesterday because Democrats were exposed. Liz Warren, Bernie Sanders, Ron Wyden, all top beneficiaries of money from Big Pharma, all frauds telling you they want to get money out of politics, that they want to take on the big drug companies. Well, we learned yesterday it's just the opposite. Can we close out with RFK? Because there was so many great moments from his hearing yesterday. You know what's so good? He just seems sincere. He just seems like he's in it for the right reason. We see so many of these weasels who are just trying to get a job or just trying to make money or advance their career. He's a 71-year-old man who is nothing to hide. Obviously, he's got a lot of skeletons in his closet, but that's all been out in the open. They didn't even attack him on the personal issues, on the 3 marriages and the drugs that he's done in his life. They didn't even go there. They just went after him because he's a threat to their friends in Big Pharma. And his answer to just about everything is, I want to make kids healthy. I want to stop diseases. I want to get people, get out. I want them to lose weight and get healthy. Could there be a better goal, mission, objective for the head of HHS? Here he is explaining yesterday what he wants to do.
To restore trust in the public health agencies, we need transparency. I want to say something about what you first said. When I launched my campaign, it was about uniting Americans, Democrats and Republicans. There's no issue that should unite us more than this chronic health epidemic. There's no such thing as Republican children or Democratic children. These are our kids. 66% of them are damaged. I know what a healthy kid looks like because I had so many of them in my family. I didn't know anybody with a food allergy growing up, peanut allergy. Why do 5 of my kids have allergies? Why are we seeing these explosions in diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, neurological diseases, depression, all of these things that are related to toxics in the environment? Why can't we just agree with each other to put differences about so many issues, intractable issues aside, and say, we're going to end this? I don't think anybody is going to be able to do this like I have because of my peculiar experience, because I've litigated against these agencies. When you litigate against them, you get a PhD in corporate capture and how to unravel it. I've written 6 books about these agencies. I know a lot about them and I know how to fix it. And there's nobody who will fix it the way that I do because I'm not scared of vested interest. I don't care. I'm not here because I want a position or a job. I have a very good life and a happy family. This is something I don't need. I want to do this because we're going to fix it. And the other thing is we are attracting now a caliber of people to HHS like never before in history. And they're entrepreneurs, they're disruptors, they're innovators of immense talent that are walking away, many of them from growing concerns. They're not coming there for position. They're coming there because they want to save our country. And they're from across the political spectrum. And all these Democrats are opposed to me for partisan issues. They used to be my friends. Agreed with me on all the environmental issues that I've been working on for my whole career. Now they're against me because anything that President Trump does, any decision he makes, has to be lampooned, derided, discredited, marginalized, vilified.
There it is. That is the best summary of the state of Washington right now. A guy trying to do the right thing, the best thing, the most important thing, make kids healthy. And they're fighting him tooth and nail because he's a Trump guy. That's it. That's all. Period. That's the case with all these nominees. Doesn't matter how qualified they are. Doesn't matter what their goal is. They're going to fight him. They're going to try to stop him because they're Trump guys. Again, these people who loved Rachel Levine, essentially his predecessor, obese, mentally ill man wearing a dress. Admiral Levine, they were all in. RFK Jr., no, can't have him trying to make kids healthy. All right, that will do it for today. We'll be all over these Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard hearings today. Can't wait. We're winning, and we're not sick of it yet. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Too many.